Welcome everybody. Welcome along to LinkedIn for Breakfast. Fantastic to have you all here. We're going to have a bit of a fun deep dive on the LinkedIn services section. So fasten your seatbelt for another slice of marketing madness every single week, 9 a.m. UK time on a Wednesday. Okay, oh, good to see you, Keith. Good to see you, Paul. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to stick the this on here. I'm going to share screens with you guys and we're just going to go through a couple of reasons why we're here. So if you're here for the first time, our mission here at LinkedIn for Breakfast is to basically make LinkedIn the world's largest professional network, a powerful tool for brand business development. So that's the lead generation piece, as well as brand expansion. And today's very much around the lead generation bit of that equation for you. So excited to be able to help with that. So that's our mission. And our vision here is to make this the best place on earth. If my slides want to actually move. Why is my slides not moving? Oh, lots of them moved then. There we go. Let's go back. Okay, press the button too many times. So our vision here is to make this the best place on earth to learn LinkedIn for free. And I need your help here, gang. I need your help because we're at 5.9 thousand members. So we're nearly at 6,000 members in our free community, which we're very excited about. But I need your help to be able to share this, or get rid of that. Share this amazing community. So in here, we give this totally free. We're not going to sell you any courses or anything along those lines in here, right? So you can come in here, you can come to these events. There's no sinister plan, right? And so we would love it if we can get over to 6,000 members. So could you just share this with your friends? Take the copy of the little URL at the top. Really simple. Flora's shared it in the chat now. I'll stick it in the chat in case anybody else is looking for it. And share it with people. Share it with friends, colleagues, whatever it is, because we'd love to get over over that hump. If you're here for the first time, you will see things like challenges, which we're going to be talking about later. You'll see us doing free events. You'll also see us have an engagement pod. And what that means is we like and share each other's posts. It's 600 odd people liking and sharing each other's posts yesterday, right? We also have the ability for you to have a free one-to-one where we go over your LinkedIn profile the LinkedIn profile and tell you about changes. And there's a number of free courses in here. So look, many of you who have been to these a lot of times will know that this is a great place to hang out. But if you haven't, or if you've got people that have not, please do invite them along because we'd like to be able to share the love. Good. Okay, enough about that. What is the LinkedIn services section? Well, it's actually a piece of the profile that I have not really lent into in the past. And it's because there's a couple of things that I don't like about it and I've resisted it. But like King Canute trying to hold back the tide, I have failed and I have thrown myself into the LinkedIn services section. And actually, to be honest with you, I think that you guys should try and also throw yourself into this because there's something that is important about it, and it's around high intent visitors of your profile. Because by having a section on your profile that talks about specifically what you actually sell, it can really help to bring that piece that's the awareness bit into your profile. Now, I will tell you the reasons why I don't like it in a second when we go a bit deeper on it, but let me tell you the reasons why I do think this is important. We do a lot on here in terms of brand awareness. You know, those two things we talked about, lead generation and brand awareness. When we're talking about brand awareness, for example, we talked about LinkedIn newsletters last week and how it's a great to be able to get subscribers on LinkedIn. Lots of people got plenty of people subscribing to this stuff, right? So that's awareness. You're generating subscribers and they are reading your content. Debatably, there's also leads because they're subscribers. We can DM them, we can work those leads, and we can get into a conversation with them. But what if a handful of them are like, I love your stuff, I see you all the time, what is it that you actually sell? How many times have you had one of those scenarios where you've talked to, and let me have a look at you lovely people. How many times have you had one of those scenarios where you actually speak to, or you're seeing content from someone, you're reading their content on social media, you might be seeing, their long form articles on LinkedIn, you might see videos, you might see little short videos and stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, this person makes loads of sense, but you have no idea what they actually sell. And you have no idea kind of, how they unpeel their onion. Are they a coach? Are they a marketing agency? Are they a service provider? Are they a whatever, do are they, yeah, for example, you might have someone who is a career coach that you thought was a recruiter, for example, or you might have someone who's you thought was a PT, but is actually a nutritionist, right? Because you don't know quite how they sell their services. They just talk some really sensible
Okay.
stuff about nutrition, for example. Now, someone is unmuted and we need to unmute them. Can you have a look at that, Flora? Good. I think it might be Miranda. Okay, good. So that's the point. And that's why I think when we're building this brand awareness and when we're looking at these profile views of your profile, it makes so much sense to actually have that place to go, right, do you know what? I actually sell this stuff. Okay, let me jump back onto a LinkedIn profile and kind of show you. So it shows up like this, but let me just show. Let's go live. Let's get rid of the presentation and actually show you it on a LinkedIn profile. So you come onto your LinkedIn profile like this. Got your headline, your banner, all the stuff that we talk about. But here's the thing, right? So these sort of 3,500 profile views that we're getting onto our profile, we want to be able to get them to go hit this call to action, right? So from our perspective, when we talk about having the perfect LinkedIn profile, we always have having like a header banner, talking to them about having some sort of call to action within the feature section. So scroll down to my feature section for the join link. The reason why is that most of those 3,500 people are not red hot leads wanting to buy my stuff, right? So what we're trying to do is get the majority of them to progress from being a profile viewer into becoming a lead, which is why we put together things like a call to action on the header banner, scrolling them down. Just close your eyes when we go past the services section for now, and then hit the features section where we've got the hey, join our free community, or like we talked about last week, join our newsletter with the one click subscribe, right? Because lead is normally the first thing that we ask people to do to convert, right? But some of these profile views, some of these 3,500 people here, some of them are going to be returning. Some of them could be mega fans. Some of them could be curious about actually what it is you do. And so by having this section in here, the services section, it can actually show you a little bit more about what you do. And I think you've got to work this in the right way. So you can see here that we've got a few different things, and we'll talk about how you set it up and all the rest of it in a second. But you can see instant, like, hit you between the eyes. I've got an info pack with prices. Because what do people want to know when they know you is who you are, what you do, how much you cost, right? And not all the time that's easy to do. And I do understand that some of you won't be able to put pricing in there because it will depend, etc. Boom, boom, boom. You could potentially do a case study and pricing guide if you wanted to on there, but you might just want to have a meeting with someone before you hit them with the price. So you can kind of work that in your own way, but those are the sort of things people are thinking about. Like, is I like this person, I like what they say, but I'm not sure if I can afford it, right? And so actually that curiosity you can use in your favor to draw them on to something to learn more. So that's quite an interesting way of doing it. It doesn't kind of work if you're a big consulting going into corporate, right? So I take the point on that. The other thing is that are you any good? And so you can have testimonials also in here. And actually, so for us, we pinned a testimonial. So you can put together media within the services section, and then they will appear here. So you don't just get testimonials on the bottom piece. Look how far I'm going down to actually get to these testimonials here, which we got a load of testimonials, but in theory, we can hit them a little bit closer up the top here with testimonials, right? And it also is kind of, you can see how it's kind of enriching the color and the branding on your profile is making things a little bit more attractive, okay? Then you get a little bit about what you do with the more button. So you can actually then get 500 odd characters that you can work on in terms of saying what it is that you do. And then you can have these tags which actually say the type of services that you offer. And you can put those in, right? So when you go into here, you can then press show all and it takes you into this services section, okay? So this is important because this is what you're setting up. Okay, and so just before I go into this to show you, if anybody's thinking, oh, how do I go set this stuff up? Where do I go? Go onto your LinkedIn profile, scroll down a bit, and you see immediately this new banner has been appeared. And you see at the top here, there's an add a section button. click the add a section button, go down to here, and there's loads of stuff. Okay. This is like literally the agenda for loads, loads of my LinkedIn for Breakfast sessions is going through this and just working out what we can add. But the whole point of this is just play about in this. So if you go to core, one of the core sections that it says to help you your profile visibility to recruiters and connections. Obviously, you don't want recruiters, but do you know what I mean? LinkedIn is saying this is core, and go down there and say add services, and so you can click into here, and it will go into the set up your services section, right? And so it gives you the ability, if you're on premium, to actually tick this box to say receive matched services requests. What does that mean? It means that people who are not specifically looking for Richard Woods's virtual assistants, but they are looking for other people who provide virtual assistants or social media marketing. And so by having that ticked, it means that you will have, and I'll show you in a second, opportunities for general inquiries to come through and you can answer that. So it's another reason why premium could be of benefit depending on what you sell, right? So that's one thing. The next thing is you can add a prominent service request button at the top of your profile, right? So what that means is that if you wanted to, you could add this as that call to action button on your profile. At the moment, I wouldn't recommend that because I think there's better ones. For example, we have visit your website, and that goes straight to our community where we want people to join. Or you can have sign up to my newsletter. This is the edit the custom button. So this actually goes into a separate place. So you can see here at the moment, I've got visit my website. It goes to LinkedIn for Breakfast. You can have visit my store, my portfolio, my blog, view my services, which is basically what it's asking you to put on. So it wants me to change it from visit my website to view my services, and it will then take people to the services section. As I say, I don't think that, I think that's weaker as a call. You only get one call to action button. I think that's a weaker call to action than visit my website, which I think is only just better than view my newsletter, because I think viewing your newsletter on LinkedIn is actually a really quick win for a lead. But view my website, because we're trying to push people into our free community, is stronger for us. Book an appointment is quite high committal, by the way. So it may feel like you want people to say that, but actually you'll get very few people pressing that because it's very high commitment, i.e., I've got to jump straight on and book an appointment with you, right? So just that's a little bit of a deep dive there on the custom button mindset. You got to work out which one works for you, and obviously you've got to be paying for either LinkedIn Premium or LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is more expensive, to be able to do that anyway. Cool. Come up for air from the LinkedIn custom button. Okay, Jesus. Why did I ever? I'd never thought that my life would become this, where I'm talking about a button for more than 5 minutes. Anyway, here we go. So let's go back to add a section, and let's go all the way down to the core, where we go to the services. It was a recap, and we go back to here. Okay, cool. So I don't think you add it as your custom button unless you don't have any of those other things and you want to really deep dive on this. Next, you want to talk to your services provided. You can add up to 10. You can go click here, you can find the services, you can actually see which category, which is quite interesting. So for me, so if I go to marketing, for example, I can see what categories are available to choose. If you do a number of things, or you wear two hats and all that malarkey, I would honestly try and double down on just one. I've doubled down on our VA services because it is the one thing that we really work on. Look, I could say that I do some keynote speaking, or I do some one-to-one coaching or whatever. Like, I could say that, but I won't, because I want to double down on the one service, because it's all about trying to hoover people into the thing that the core thing, the thing I really want to sell, and then working there. So I think about that. Tick 10, because one, this is going to help you in terms of that core matching section. So in terms of getting these requests for people that are looking for these services outside of your network, this is what the keywords are that people are going to be seeing. Two, these are the keywords as well that are going to associate your account with what you do. And when we think about the Brew 360 update, the new algorithm update that we've talked about, we did a session on that. If you want to know where that session is, jump into LinkedIn for Breakfast community, or go onto my YouTube channel. In fact, Laura, here you go. Here's my YouTube channel. Let me just go open this in a new tab. Here you go. If I produce stuff that isn't in the LinkedIn for Breakfast community on this YouTube channel, so if you want to subscribe to that, click on that subscribe. You get some extra bonus videos. Great. So we want to get on to here. And so these are the services. So make sure you get the right services in here. It does make a difference, and you will be associated with those keywords, which will then help in terms of the narrative of what your profile is seen as by the algorithm. And so, therefore, people who talk about virtual assistants or social media marketing will be shown your content, or people who are interested in those topics will be shown your content by the algorithm, because it's another way of pointing the signpost at you that you are talking about these things, because you are providing services about those things. Get it? So it's all about having enough signposts to say you are linked to that tunnel of content, and people who are interested in that should see your stuff. Just to recap that. Good. Now you have 500 characters to play with here. Again, this is not about you, your life story, etc. This is go down and dirty about what it is that you do, what it is that you sell. So get straight into that. We provide a done for you LinkedIn marketer who manages your content, posting, outreach, inbox, and follow ups daily, right? So get straight into the nitty gritty. 500 words is no words. I'm exactly 500 out of 500 there, with a little help of GPT. So the whole point of this is that you want to maximize this and really work on it. So we've doubled down on the fact that we have our prices bold on here, because we want to really draw people into the fact that we're £5 an hour, etc. That's our kind of key pricing model. So if you can do stuff like that, do it. If you can't, just work really hard on what the service is that you do. Cool. Then work out if you want to just do local stuff or remotely. Obviously, most of you are probably going to be saying remotely. And then pricing wise, you can do that, or you can tick this button, which is contact us for pricing, which is totally acceptable. You can definitely do that, because obviously most of us need to think about that. But if you can do that hourly rate, then why not? Good. Okay. And then so media wise, you can start to add media, and I'll show you that in a second when we go into the services section. So you can add things like links, you can add stuff like so you can see here that I've added the info pack, I've added a testimonial. You can simply go onto here, you can add an image, you can add a video, you can add a link to something, which works really nicely, because I'll show you in a second. It looks beautiful. It's super easy to add anything. So for example, if I wanted to add another testimonial, I would go URL, add links. I would head over to a testimonial. I'd grab this lovely one from Amanda saying some nice stuff about us. And it's nice. If you go onto LinkedIn, it pulls in your content really nicely. So if I go like this, so you get the thumbnail comes in straight away. You've got the title that's pulled straight in from YouTube, for example, if you've got some nice YouTube testimonials. And then I just simply just go in, and then I just go grab a little bit of this. So just a bit of description, because you don't have that many characters compared to YouTube. And then I can just say in one of our, there you go. I don't want to abbreviate stuff. Good stuff. Okay, and press save, and then bam, it just goes like that. And you can move them up and down based upon where you want them to sit within it. So I've got my info pack, which is basically just a link to a PDF. I've got a couple of testimonials in there. Boom, done. Right. So it will just sit there nicely. And actually, as you do that, scroll down. Now you've got three that sit along here. Now, as you can see, I don't actually think that three works. It's the same with the featured section. I think that two work really well because it makes it nice and big. I think that the three here makes it a bit small, and it's less impact. So actually, I would be going onto here, and I'd be media. I'd press add media, and I would actually, I'm going to delete Amanda. She'll be upset with me for doing that. But there you go. Thank you, Amanda. It was emotional. So good stuff. So there we go. So you can see, look, I think that this is a lot more powerful. Less sometimes is more from a design point of view. Good. Okay. So now we're on to this services section. We've set this up nicely. People can come onto this. They can see that I've got an info pack. They've got a nice testimonial. And here's the confession. I set this up last night. So this is going to play into the challenge, because I want to challenge you all to set this up today And therefore, I want you to all then start to be able to see what impact it has in the next few weeks in terms of inquiries for your business. So, this is quite an interesting, exciting thing. So, I haven't received any reviews yet, but I have. If we go down to the left here, when you go onto your services section, you have this different admin view, right? So, you've got these different functions. Go down to the bottom, review status. You can send up to 20 requests for a review. So last night, I've gone and requested from 20 clients that they send me a review. And my hope was at least one of them in the 12 hours that it's been might have said that they did one, but they haven't done yet. So I can follow up. I can send them a message. I can say, "Come on, Julie, sort a brother out. Do a review." But ultimately, we're hoping. So you can see here. Would you mind writing me a recommendation, please? Oh no, here you go. Oh, look at that. I didn't realize it did that. That's cool. It does a pre. It sends a review in the request bit, but you can also then send a message, and then that message is already pre-written with you, which is cool. So then I could just press send there. But I would, because I know Julie, I'd probably tweak this a little bit and just say, "Hey Julie, I'm really trying to build up my LinkedIn services section. Could you review?" Now, what you can have 20 requests, but when someone accepts and sends you one, you get one of those credits back. So as soon as Julie actually writes me a request, then I can send another request to someone else, and then I can build up those services requests. So this is how it works. Now, if I show you a services section that has got, I was only because I was reading one of his stuff. I really like Richard van der Bloom, by the way. He's great in terms of the LinkedIn algorithm. But he's got this. He hasn't got many, but when you have the services reviews on, it actually has a lovely thing that looks like this. So you can see reviews, 5 out of 5, and actually it has it broken down a little bit better than if you just had those reviews on your profile. And it goes in like this. So it says what is it that they're reviewing. So it's got the key phrase for it. And so that the actual tag, so was it training, was it lead generation, was it content strategy, and then the review in here, and so sits like that. So actually, it's a really attractive piece within this once you built it out. But obviously, doing it last night means that I've got to wait for that to happen. However, here's the punchline. I did it last night, and immediately I already have a request, now be it a premium request, i.e., this person hasn't specifically requested it from me, but I've been shown this request because I'm associated with social media marketing. Now, to be honest, it's not really. I don't know. It's. I think it's probably more like someone fishing because he's from Fiverr, so he's probably going out there to try and sell me on the idea that why don't I sell my services on Fiverr? Probably, but it already starts to link in services here. This is the premium requests, and we can kind of look around and actually see those. And then the direct requests would come into here. As I said, I was playing about with it last night because the whole point of this is that I want you guys to set this up like me and then start to be able to see and work the services section. So when you do get requests in, you can then submit a proposal and you can go and actually write a proposal in here. You can include a phone consultation if you want, etc. And you can go and send them a proposal. Or we can say, no thanks, it's not for me. And we can tick the no thanks piece. And then we can decline it that way if you want to, right? So it's leads. It's actually having conversations with people who are interested in what you do. Why wouldn't we be playing with this, right? And here's the other final thing is that once you accept something through this project, you can then go, okay, that's cool. Well, your projects would be in here. These will be the projects that you've agreed to. You can press learn more here if you want to know a bit more. And ultimately, what it means is that you can show the live projects. If you've set a project, you can be communicating with someone back and forth about the project via LinkedIn, as if you were using like a project management tool. Interesting. I'm not sure how much I would do that once I've sold someone, but it might be good in the interim when we're just kind of going through proposal stage, etc. In there. Cool. So that's it, right? So you've got your services page, etc. LinkedIn saying it's core, LinkedIn saying it's important. I think having something like this that's got a nice page like this, most importantly, I can have my info pack in here. People can visit it and people can go through and understand our system, how we work, and actually what we cost, etc., and all the T's and C's. And then there could actually be like a get started link on there, and I could get people to go straight through and actually get started with us, etc., through it. Don't be shocked by the numbers, by the way. It's in dirhams. We are Dubai based. Right. So that's the services section. So what is my challenge to you? What is my challenge, my friends? And I'm going to take some questions. Um, we have created this slide or this thing within the LinkedIn for Breakfast community, which is ultimately, I would love you all to set up your services section, right? If you've already created it, great. Then optimize it as much as possible. Go back, get the referrals out, get some testimonials out there, update it to get your info pack on there. Share it within the LinkedIn for Breakfast community. And then we'll like, comment, and support it on the post that I put up there. And then work the inbox, respond to every message, even the ones that you decline, because then at least you're active, you're responding to everyone. Track your results, how many inquiries, opportunities, or sales were generated, and let us know. Really interested to see some wins from this. So, just to show you where that is within the LinkedIn for Breakfast community, go into LinkedIn for Breakfast. You'll see here the LinkedIn Services section challenge in here. Again, reiterating what we've just said on that slide in terms of the mission. And then what I'd love you to do is just go onto this page and go onto your page. Don't share someone else's. Okay, so then you should be able to just simply, can I press share? Uh, Post the so you could post this services page, and so you could then write a nice post about this, and you could then take the link to the post and then share it within the community, right? So I've actually already done that. So if I show you this, it's not a very exciting page, but let me just show you this post. Here we go. So I will take this post where I've updated my services section. It gives a button, which remember that's unusual on LinkedIn. So this is me sort of saying about the button. I can take this, I can then copy this link, and you can see here people are already liking and commenting and supporting it. It's getting some impressions and some likes. So we want to help you get more impressions on likes on your services section. So take the post where you've shared it, go onto here and say, this is mine. Boom. And remember, whenever you're sharing something on LinkedIn, you've got to delete the question mark. Anything after the question mark, that's the tracking. You see what I'm doing here? This is important if you're using the pod as well, guys. Delete the tracking. So it means that when LinkedIn sees the traffic going to your services page, it's not seeing it as coming from the same link that you've shared. So this is important if you want to help in terms of get more reach for your post, because it's showing that people have organically found the post, right? So there you go. So you comment on there, great. And then if people be kind enough to like and comment on that, check out the services page, then happy days. Great. That's that's the demo. I'm going to answer some questions now from it. So I'll be taking Freddie's question at the top there first of all. But before I do, guys, so do the challenge. If any of you are unclear or any of you want to take us up on our offer of a free LinkedIn profile audit, and this will help you to understand what your profile should look at, not just this services piece, but the header banner, the about section, written as a sales letter, the newsletters we talked about, the key call to action.
Hi, good
Our
morning.
team of professionals are here to help you one to one. So if you haven't booked a LinkedIn profile audit with us yet, it is free, it's super valuable, and it's so easy to do. But let me just get you the link, and then I'll take the question, right? So here it is. You can jump in here. There'll be availability. Look, there's one slot on Thursday. Thursday, guys. Someone take that slot on Thursday, 2 p.m. Come on. So do jump into there. Hang on, let me just put that into the chat. So there you go. Bam. Jump into there. Someone take that 2 o'clock tomorrow. There is some space on Friday as well. Good. Okay. Freddie, over to you.
Hi, good morning, Richard, everybody. Thanks so much for all of this. I've been through the LinkedIn profile review and it was super helpful. I've been working on my profile for quite a while and, gradually upgraded everything. My question to you is that currently I can't do premium. So I feel that that kind of constricts a lot of the best practice that you advise. What's your opinion?
I don't think most of the stuff that I'm advising, actually, I very much try and only advise on stuff that you can do for free. Now, in terms of what I've showed you today, the whole of the LinkedIn services section is open to you. The only thing that you don't get is the leads from people who are looking for, so for example, on LinkedIn, they might go and say, I'm looking for a virtual assistant who to help me with my LinkedIn marketing. I
Mhm.
may get found for that, but if I didn't have premium, I wouldn't get found for that. So I just got to kind of work out, well, actually, is that important enough or not? To be honest with you, I don't know yet on the services section. I will report back to let you know. And actually, if I'm seeing loads of really great leads coming in and we're winning them, then I'm going to be singing from the rooftops that everybody be crazy not to be doing LinkedIn Premium. At the moment, I'm a little bit conflicted about LinkedIn Premium. Now we use it because we get it for free because we pay for the even more expensive one, which is Sales Navigator. And I like Sales Navigator as a hardcore lead generator because I'm doing lead lists from it. I'm using that to be able to feed some outreach stuff. I'm actually using my LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Don't tell anyone, but we use it as a way of pulling down lists for all of our clients as well. So for me, it's like a massive multiplier effect. But if I was just paying for it for myself, I probably still would purely because of the detail that I can go into, such as what's the revenue of the person, of the client that we're looking for, seniority, where are they based, are they active on LinkedIn, and working it that way. But you don't need to. And if you go through our 5-day LinkedIn challenge, it will show you how you can just do basic searches on LinkedIn without using Sales Navigator. So my answer to your question is you actually don't beat yourself up about it. I don't think at this stage most people need it. But if you're kind of premium curious, there is a Sales Navigator session, and actually one of the ways to find the latest versions, because I do these on sort of a 13-week cycle, these sessions. If you go onto my YouTube, you can actually go onto the live session piece here, and so in the LinkedIn for Breakfast, you've got all the replays, right? You've got all the replays, you've got the classroom, you've got a number of courses in here. There is a Sales Navigator course in here. Here you go. Here's the Sales Navigator course. But if you want to go and see the latest training that we're doing, we always live stream. And so here's last week's newsletters. Here's the weeks before pod formula and how we got over 1 million views. So the late go down there until yeah, here you go. Here's the Sales Navigator training here. So that's the latest time. So 2 months ago we did this session, and so they're always different. And so here I'll put it in the chat if anybody's Sales Nav curious. There's that session in there in the chat. So do jump on that if you potentially. But I don't think so, Freddie, that you need to do that.
Okay, thanks for that. And thank you for the YouTube link because I use YouTube quite a lot and I hadn't realized you were there. So that's going to make it much easier. Thanks.
That's good.
Can I ask a second question?
Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all.
So I've asked one or two people to leave me reviews, and their comment is usually, "Oh, just write me something and I'll post it."
Yes.
Is that kosher? What do you kind of feel, Zeke?
Oh, I'm all for it.
Okay.
Look, it's like a gift because the beauty of it is that you can shape that review. Yeah, like we used to say to people, actually say in the message, "Hey, I'd love you to write a review for me. If you like, I can write the basis of it if it will help you save a bit of time, and then you can just kind of dot the i's and crosses the t's."
Yeah.
Lots of
So
people, for
then I
me,
can
it's
make
not.
sure, sorry, so then I can make sure that my SEO is included in that review.
Exactly.
Mm.
So and when we think about SEO, it's not. It's more just making sure. You know what it's like. So some people might use an old name for your business because it was something
Yeah.
else, or someone might not say your business name. They might just say your name. Or there's a little bit of branding you can weave in. plus also make sure they're talking about the right type of product, and it leads on to being
Mm.
easy for you to screenshot and using your marketing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're a big fan of
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Speed is what it's all about. Good, guys. Well, looking forward to another question. If you put something in the chat, I do apologize. I might have missed it. Maybe you could use the little digital hand up feature and ask the question. If you can do, or just simply just unmute and ask the question. I'm going to try my hardest to find some. Um, okay, someone's offering 25% off all computer repairs. Let's keep it classy, guys. Okay. Um, so does book an appointment only work with Calendly? Benita says. So when we talk about that, you're talking about the custom action button, right? So let's go into your LinkedIn profile. So when we're talking about changing your this when we talk about this custom button, here it is. It's the when someone looks at your profile, they will have this button here, visit my website. These ones are actually more admin stuff for me to use. They'll only see visit my website. When I post, also you'll see at the top of my post, visit my website. That's what your custom button is, right? So the question here is, will it only work if you use Calendly? And the point is with this custom button, let's just go down, just editing it and go to premium, edit the custom button. Um, when you go and change to book an appointment, you would only be able to use an existing scheduling link and you can put your URL in, right? So you can create a new scheduling link. Actually, let's see that. Can you edit these? Available, powered by Kindly. That's interesting. Availability preview. I think that that might just be like a strange integration they've got weird. But for me, I'd just use an existing scheduling link and I would delete. This is obviously going to the URL I've got, and I would just go to say my actual. This is through Go High Level is what we use for our scheduling, and I would just copy this URL here, and then I would replace the URL with the URL of mine, and then that would work. It would work that way. So that's interesting. Creating new scheduling, display on my post, messages, and search me. Interesting. Okay, yeah. No, create an existing scheduling link is basically what you do. So you just put it into there and press done, and then you want it to display on your post messages and search results, right? But we don't want that. We want to have visit my website. That's what we're working on. Good. Um,
Thank
cool.
you.
No worries. Benita, good to see you. Chris, question over to you. You're muted, but
Sorry, I wasn't quick enough to lower my hand because you answered the question. Because when you go for that example, you had your school link in there, and so I was thinking, oh, can you just instead of them going to a calendar, you can actually direct them to your school, but it's because you already had that in. Sorry,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. The reason on that demo basically it just still had the
yeah.
link that I had for
Sorry.
my website. Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, so you'd make sure you put in the new link in there. Um, the Ken says, does the button only change if you have LinkedIn Premium? You don't have a button if you're not on LinkedIn Premium. You can put a URL link in, and you can have that in your profile, but you don't get the button, and therefore the button doesn't get to follow you around onto your posts, which is where actually the thing works. And also when we're deep diving on the button again, guys, I mean, come on, this is like half the presentation on the button. But if I was to look at, say, a post that did okay, let's just look at this post. If I look at the analytics, I can see what the premium button has worked. So if I go look at the impressions, I can see that I'm getting people coming onto my profile, and then I can see link engagement, and I've had one one person hit my premium button. But the point being is that's quite high intent, visit my website, etc. from there. So the argument is always when I do get posts that really do blow up, I might get 30, 40 people hitting that button, which is great. It's like 30, 40 people becoming a member of our community. And for us, we're spending sort of like £3 on per lead on, say, Facebook. So if I'm getting sort of 30 odd people, then that's worth £90 to me for free. I just made 90 quid for free because I would have to spend that much to be able to get those 30 people if I was using ads. So that's why this sort of stuff is important. Cool, my pedigree chum. Okay, so if what you offer is not on the list of services, okay. So yes, this is so when you're thinking about the list of services, it's keywords, right? So we're picking those things that came up in that kind of oblong circle with the key phrase in. Um, they basically want to categorize you. They want to put you in a pigeonhole. Don't put baby in a corner. But the whole point is by choosing those key phrases, Graham, stop shaking your head at me. I can see you. So the point is by doing those keywords and selecting those, it's allowing LinkedIn to go, right, you are a recruiter. Boom. Okay. And so actually don't be afraid of that. Don't have niche clusterphobia because the riches are in the niches, as the Americans like to say. And so you want to be able to be known for something. It's better to be known for something than nothing, right? And because you're being too abstract with what you do. So many people try and really get too creative and flowery with their language that actually sometimes it's quite nice to be forced to be a button on LinkedIn. If it's a massive, massive problem, then obviously you might have to try and think about kind of getting around it. But I'm sure you could just put the category in there. Interestingly, and as I say, I do respect this person, Richard van der Bloem. He, I think, has only got. Oh no, he does it. He does it all. Okay, fine. I thought at some point I saw someone who only just had one service provided, which I thought was quite an interesting scenario. Because you can just go, I'm just that. But I have to say that with the Brew 360 update, the algorithm update, I would advise it to look more like this, which is actually I'm pleased that he also has that as well because that, as I say, I think it's important to try and have breadth, but within a tight kind of bracket, if you like, with what you do, right? So actually within his example here, so he's doing training around social media marketing. So it's sort of training, public speaking, corporate training around marketing, social media, etc. So you can see that he's kind of a social media trainer, which he is. He trains people within corporate on LinkedIn, right? And so that's kind of his vibe, and so that's where he's put his key phrases in. Similar with mine. Mine's all around virtual assistants and social media marketing. So where he's using the training coaching piece, I'm actually not doing that. I'm putting the virtual assistant piece and social media marketing because we provide the virtual assistants because that's what I want to do. So hopefully this gives you a bit of an insight in terms of how you should work your niches. Um, Sue's saying, I get requests for services but can't see them. Okay, so if you are on the services section, just head on over to, you basically want to just go into your own services section and it's on the admin piece there. So go into services, press show all here, get into it, and then go on the left hand side and go to requests. And then once you're into requests, you'll see them here. So these are your direct services requests. So I haven't received anybody who's specifically gone onto my profile and requested a service. And then you've got these premium requests, which is basically people who are looking for social media marketing on LinkedIn. And so that comes into them. And you should, even though these people you might think is a bit spammy and not in the right person, I would just make sure. So for me, I'm just going to say no thanks to this one because he works for Fiverr. He probably wants us to work and be a member on Fiverr. So I'm going to decline, which just means that I've got, and actually I want to show you this specifically. Again, I'm using the Richard's one here, but you can see here it says 100% response rate to his services, right? So that means, I don't know if mine's been updated now. I'll be interested to know if it does. Um, I'll say it's it. Hang on, can I just kind of refresh that? No. Okay, so the more responses that you get, it will show what your response rate are to your clients. So actually that's another little factor in there that will help you. Cool. Okay, gang. I can answer a couple more questions, but before I do, because in case anybody is shooting off, please remember that we do these lovely profile audits, and it's really worth grabbing these. So if you haven't grabbed one, or if you haven't had one in a long time, and you want to have a bit of an update, do jump onto there and request. And we will put the link in there. Look, that 2 o'clock one's still there. When does that happen, guys? Come on. Who's going to do 2 o'clock tomorrow? And there you go. So there's the link into there. So someone bite my arm off that 2 o'clocker tomorrow. It'd be really good to see you guys at that session. Well, it's a one-to-one. So, we go through your LinkedIn profile, your banner, looking at your recommendations, and just give you some great tips. Cool. Back into the room. Who's got a question? I'm going to stick around for another 5 minutes. If you're shooting off, great to see you. But Phil, oh, so Amanda's saying, interested to explore Maria Robertson's question. What is Maria Robinson's question? Maria, are you here? Can you ask your question? I can't see it.
I'm here.
Go for it. Oh, did I answer it about the list of services?
Yeah, about the services. So obviously I'm a recruiter. So when you scroll down, you don't see recruiter. So I just added some services around there. And then I could, where is my services page? Then in the comments, I was able to say I'm a recruiter in the 500 words, but
Okay,
not actually say, use the word recruiter.
I'm shocked that the word recruiter's not there.
So was I.
Yeah, like LinkedIn is all about it. What do Americans call recruiters?
Hiring.
Hiring wasn't on there either. I searched hiring as well. Well, unless I missed it.
Let me just get rid of one of these and then let's have a look. Wow.
It's odd, isn't it?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm flabbergasted. I don't really know what to say about that. Maybe, well, there you go. I don't know what to say. I mean, of all the things,
I know. But I've got
I'm
lots of
shocked.
requests through the premium. So there's loads of requests there since yesterday. I think there's like 10 now. Most of them are for resume writing. So obviously I added that in there as a skill. I've got a career coaching
Yeah.
and career development coaching, and there was something else I saw. Interview prep.
There's a few kind people in the chat now talking about human resources, resume review, talent management.
Yeah, so I think I added 10. Let me have a look at my service page quickly. So I just added yeah, so I just put like outsourcing, change management, career development coaching, HR consulting, strategic planning, resume review, resume writing, interview prep, and D&I, just to put something out there to try and bring people in. And then obviously just wrote the 5
worked it in there.
saying what I do.
I am surprised. I am surprised.
Yeah.
Recruitment. Have you tried recruitment? But I guess if I typed in rec, so I imagine that would have come up. So there you go. Anyway, thank you, Ken, for that. We'll keep on trying, keep on playing, keep on exploring with it. So, gang, just to recap on the challenge. And then I'll close for today. Set up your services section. Create or optimize that LinkedIn service section. Do whatever you can. Just fill in as many things as you can on it. Make it look as nice as possible. Share it in the LinkedIn for Breakfast group. We'll give it some love. And then work that inbox. Get yourself up to a position where you are getting your services up there. Get those reviews up there as well. And then track the results. Let us know how you get on. Be fascinated to know. Cool. We'll keep that pinned up, that challenge post, for a couple of weeks. So excited to see how we all go. All right, gang. I hope that helps. And I will see you next Wednesday for another slice of LinkedIn for breakfast. Big love. Take care. See you on the flip side. Bye. 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 Oh, Benita booked the 2 o'clock slot.